I've heard a popular insult show up quite a bit this last year. It's an insult that is so nasty, so condescending, so derogatory that I'm a little nervous to show it to you today. Are you ready to see it? Sheeple. Sheeple. Have you heard this insult before? Sheep plus people, combine them together, sheeple. And you'll find this insult in daily conversations. You'll find it if you read the comment section on a Facebook post or Reddit discussion. You'll see this insult thrown around quite a bit. And it's an insult that's been used so much recently that it actually got put in the dictionary. It is an official word in the dictionary, and it's defined as people who are docile, compliant, or easily influenced. Let me give you a couple examples. This shows up in current events quite a bit. And somebody says, they actually believe that about vaccines? Look at those sheeple. They believe what about that last election? Look at those sheeple. I've seen it used when talking about technology. Did you hear that the new Apple headphones are $180? Those sheeple will buy anything Apple puts out. I've heard it used in the fashion world. Jennifer Aniston got a haircut like this, and now every single woman in America has a haircut like this. Look at all these people. It's a word that's used to offend somebody. Why do you think that it's a term that would be so offensive to us today? Well, it's because if you call somebody a sheep, you are implying that they're dumb, blind followers. And we live in a world that is very individualistic, and we care so much about being able to think for ourselves and to pave our own path and to not follow others, but to be our own people. So when you call somebody a sheep, it's the exact opposite of that. I'm well informed, but you're just a blind sheep. I'm living my life like this. I know all the true facts, all the right information, and you're just a sheep. It's a word that's often used as an insult to this day. But today is what we call Good Shepherd Sunday in the church year. And that term sheep shows up throughout the Bible describing you and me. But God doesn't take that term sheep and use it as an insult. Instead, he uses it as a term to show that we are dearly loved. So today, my goal for this sermon is for you to learn to grow and appreciate that term sheep, that term that God uses to describe us. And we are in John chapter 10, often called the Good Shepherd chapter of the Bible. And you're going to find out why it's called the Good Shepherd chapter of the Bible right here. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. He is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. So this is Jesus speaking, and right away, he calls himself the good shepherd. He calls himself the good shepherd, and then immediately he says the best thing about the good shepherd. He says, I'm the good shepherd, and the best thing about being the good shepherd is that I am willing to lay down my life for the sheep. And right away, we think about what Jesus has done for us. We think about how Jesus was willing to die for the sheep, how he died on the cross for you and me to take away all of our sins. We see that Jesus is the good shepherd who loves us so much that he was willing to die for us. But then, he contrasts the good shepherd, who he is, with what the Bible calls hired hands. So you picture the good shepherd, he's the one that owns the flock, he's the one that cares for the flock. And the hired hands, they are just somebody hired to watch over the flock. And Jesus points out that when problems come up, when savage wolves come and attack the flock, the hired hands run away. So Jesus is showing that as sheep, we have an option. You can either listen to the voice of the good shepherd, or you can listen to someone else. So my question for you today is this. Whose voice are you following? Are you following the voice of your good shepherd, or are you following the voice of a hired hand? Because there are a lot of voices in this world, aren't they? There are a lot of voices in this world that want your attention, a lot of voices that draw people away, a lot of voices that people follow and put their hope and trust in. So my question for you is, whose voice are you following? Are you following the voice of your good shepherd or of someone else? Let me show you some of the most common voices that are out there right now. Political voices are a very common voice right now. And political voices say, if you vote for me, then you will be safe and protected. And people follow these political voices. They turn on to their favorite news channel. They read their favorite articles. They put their trust in a candidate. And all of these voices say the same thing. If you elect me, if you vote for me, then I'm going to make your life better. I will give you safety, security. I will make this world a better place. But can those political voices follow through on their promises? Fashion voices say, if you buy this product, then you will be beautiful and loved by all. Whether it's a commercial or an Instagram model or that friend you had from high school trying to sell you organic beauty products, they all have the same goal in mind. If you buy this product, then you will be beautiful. If you buy this product, then you will be loved. If you get in this shape and wear your hair like this and start to look like this, then people will recognize you. Then you'll be considered beautiful or handsome, and people will admire you. That's what the voices of fashion try and tell you. But can they give you that? Can they give you admiration? Can they truly make you beautiful? Next voice. Entertainment voices say, if you watch me, then you will be happy and full of joy. Whether it is an actor or an actress or a comedian or Hollywood as a whole, there are a lot of voices in entertainment right now that want your attention, that want you to follow their voice. And they promise to you that if you watch them, if you listen to them, then you will be happy. They will make your life just a little bit better. You will find happiness and joy and comedy, and it will make your life so much better. But can the voices of entertainment follow through on their promises? Financial voices say, if you invest in me, then you will be provided for and well taken care of. There are so many financial voices out there that tell you, invest in this. Invest in these index funds, invest in this stock market, do this type of moves with your money, and then you can enjoy your retirement, and then you'll be well taken care of, and then you will finally be secure. But can money or financial advisors truly give you security? Can they truly give you safety? Will you really be well taken care of if you make these moves with your money? So whose voice are you following? Whose voice are you following? Are you following the voice of the Good Shepherd, or has another voice snuck in and grabbed your attention? Have you been led astray? Politicians, they might be able to make this world a little bit better, but can they create a perfect world? I don't think so. Voices of entertainment and fashion might give you happiness for a little bit, but can they give you true, deep, long-lasting joy and peace? A financial advisor might be able to help you out, might be able to help you get your money in order, but can they stop you from dying? They might be able to help you save for retirement, but can they stop you from dying? No way. And because we are sinful humans, we often act like sheep. And like sheep, we get led astray. And we follow these other voices, and we follow these hired hands, and we believe their promises, and we think that they're going to deliver on their promises. But these are only promises that the Good Shepherd can keep. But so often, like sheep, we stray. I kind of picture it like this. I saw a video about a sheep this week. So, go ahead and watch. Can anyone else relate to that sheep? You're stuck in a ditch, and then the shepherd pulls you out, and then you get stuck right back in that same ditch. I can definitely relate to that sheep. And I bet you can too. About sinful habits that you have in your life, and you get stuck, but Jesus helps you out. He pulls you out of the ditch. And then what do you do? Right away, you get led astray by another voice, and you get stuck in that ditch again. That's what we do as sinful humans. That's what we do as sinful sheep. We get led astray. And God would have every right. God would have every right to let us be stuck in that ditch, to stay in that path of destruction that we gain for ourselves. God would have every right for us to just stay right there. But what we see is that we have a good shepherd. Jesus says again, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Jesus says, I'm the good shepherd, and I know my sheep. Take a moment and think about the closest relationship that you have in this world. For many of you, it might be your spouse. Maybe it's a best friend that you have. Now, why is that relationship so close? When I think about my own life and my own marriage, and what I find so wonderful about being married is that my wife has seen me at my absolute worst. She has seen my sinful habits. She's seen me make a mess out of my life. She's seen me at my worst. And she knows that. But yet, she still loves me. And we're still together. And I think that's the most beautiful part of being in a relationship. To have somebody know you, but still love you. To have somebody know you and your faults, and to still love you. And in this passage, Jesus says, He knows you. He knows you. He knows you all the times when you've strayed. He knows all your dark thoughts. He's known all the messes that you've made out of your life. Jesus knows you. But as a good shepherd, He still loves you, still watches over you, still protects you, still cares about you. The good shepherd knows you, and He loves you. And I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them also. And here we see Jesus care about not just those who are already in the church who say that they know that Jesus is the good shepherd, but He cares about the sheep, the rest of the world, that don't know about Him yet. And He says, I want to bring those people in. And as we are in this sermon series called Go, where we're taking the blessings of Easter and sharing them with the rest of the world, we have the opportunity to tell the world about our good shepherd. We have a good shepherd who protects us and watches over us, that no matter what happens to us in this world, we know we're going to be okay. And as Christians in this world, we have the opportunity to show that to the rest of the world. When your life is getting hard, but you don't fret, you don't panic because you have a good shepherd watching over you, you're going to stand out from the rest of the world. They're going to want to know why you have so much hope. And that will give you the opportunity to talk about your good shepherd. That message of the good shepherd is a message we can share with others, even when times are hard. And that is exactly what the early Christian church did. Right here is a picture of a church. But it's not a church that we would picture today. This is actually a picture of a catacomb in the Roman Empire. And during the 100s, 200s, and the early 300s, the early Christian church faced quite a bit of persecution. Meaning that the Romans, they thought that the Christians were unpatriotic because the Christians weren't bowing down and worshiping the Roman gods. So, because of that, they thought the Christians were unpatriotic. It was legal for people to persecute the Christians. Meaning they could put them to death. And there are stories about how they put Christians to death, tortured them in just about every way imaginable, burned them at the stake, threw them to lions. And so what did the church do? They didn't have churches like Holy Trinity where they say, come to church at 5 p.m. on Saturday or Sunday at 10 a.m. Instead, they had to worship underground. They worshiped in catacombs. These were like underground graveyards. This is where they took dead bodies. And this is where the Christians came every week and worshiped underground. Can you imagine being one of those Christians where you go to church on a Sunday and you always have that fear in the back of your mind? What if we get caught? What's going to happen if the wrong person finds us? Am I going to get put to death this Sunday? Is my family going to get put to death this Sunday? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine worshiping in a catacomb with those thoughts in the back of your mind? But in those catacombs, scholars have found beautiful murals, beautiful pictures of hope found underneath the ground. Can I show you one of those beautiful pictures of hope? This is a picture from about the year 200, found in a catacomb, of Jesus, the Good Shepherd. What gave these Christians hope? What gave these Christians hope to go out into the world and to continue to believe in Jesus, to continue to worship Jesus, and to share their faith with other people, even though it meant that one day they might die for their faith? Well, it was the message of the Good Shepherd. That whether they are persecuted or not, whether they are burned at a stake or not, no matter what happens to them, they know that when they die, they will have a good shepherd who will shepherd them into green pastures of eternal life with Jesus. That's the hope that they have. That's the motivation that they had to share their faith, that they are safe and secure in the arms of the Good Shepherd. And that's the same hope that we have. And no one can take away that hope. The housing market can't change that hope. The stock market can't change your hope. The political climate of this world can't take away that hope. Nothing can take you out of your Good Shepherd's arm. You are safe and protected. And one day when you die, you will be shepherded into green pastures because we have a Good Shepherd who gave up his life for the sheep. So, right now, as I look around this room, I see a bunch of sheeple. But don't take that as an insult. Instead, wear that term, sheep, as a badge of honor. Let that term sheep be your pride and joy, because it shows that you have a good shepherd. And yes, as sheep we may wander, and yes, as sheep we may stray. But we have a good shepherd who will bring us to heaven with him one day. So go and tell the world about your good shepherd.